Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. It's your gal, Juliberry. Oh my gosh, what a game. What a game. We went into overtime. We were betting on the Chiefs and they pulled through. They pulled through, gamers. That was epic. Hello, Crimson Prison. I see you redeemed first. Welcome in. And hello, Christy May. The Super Bowl was epic. We're doing a no makeup stream because it's so late. I already showered. After this, I'm hopping right into bed because I did not expect for the game to go into halftime. I did not expect to be invested. Hi, RV. Hello, welcome in. How was Hypixel? Oh, I forgot to open Mix It Up. Crimson, I'm sorry. Hold on. I have a reminder right here next to me, and I always forget to open it. Hold on, I'll pull that up for you real quick. Because I love Don't Stop the Party. Didn't play Hypixel, just hung out with Sari for a wee bit. Gotcha. I saw y'all on VC. Bruh, I'm sorry, don't bruh me. Hold on, I'll get it for you, I promise. I'll even pause the music for you too. Here you go. Test. We want it. We want party. And stop the party. Y'all having a good time? Yeah, yeah. Yelling on a free time. Stop the party. Anywho. My brand is the music for the chat. Of course. I got you. I'll keep that open. I'll keep it open. But yeah, so after halftime, after seeing Usher just totally rap and sing while skating, watching the game, I'm like, oh, dang, I'm like high-key invested. Hey chat, might push this back. Next thing you know, boom, overtime. Next thing you know, boom, there's not a watch there. It's 4 minutes till 10 o'clock. But thought we could go ahead and squeeze in a one-shot. And that one-shot being a lovely 9.7k worded fic written by our very own Modberry, arbitersart. I remember reading this back when it first came out. If you get tired, don't feel like you gotta finish. I got you, homie. Bless you. It is a space fic, Star Trek AU. I remember reading this back in 2022 when it was first published, and I loved it. I will say, I was gonna start a podcast, like a fic reading podcast, like a lot of people have on, Spotify, but unfortunately because of college and graduating and then finding a job, I just didn't have the time for it. And I am already a part of a podcast, the Sunny Side Up podcast, so might as well just read the darn thing on stream for people to have forever. So yeah, that is what we're going to be doing here tonight. I haven't read this fic. Oh man, I haven't read it in I guess years. So I'm excited. I am excited to get back into it. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on the lore playlist. Where's my lore playlist? Oh, here it is. Okay. So music will be playing in the background. It'll be very chill. Luckily, it's late at night. So if you guys need to just sit back, get a squishmallow, get a blanket, get a pillow, get some cold water or, some hot cocoa or, some popcorn. Little snacky snack to just sit back and chew on while I read. Go for it. Let me pull up the window capture for y'all. Oh, I forget. It's in this format because of my freaking thing. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. Boop. Aight. Epic. I love this fic a lot. Move Spotify over here real quick. Y'all having a good night? I hope y'all enjoyed.
Never back down, never what?
Oh shoot, I forgot to pause alerts.
Never back down, never what?
Never give up. Do 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 do. Techno to Tommy this. Techno to Tommy. Never back down. Never what? Thank you for reminding me to pause sound alerts. I don't want to jump scare anybody. Oh man. Let me see. Let me get back there. Yeah, never back down, never what? Never give up. Never back down, never what? Never give up. Also, I had to do it before the angst starts. No. You're valid. You're valid. Thank you. We love a good laugh. But yeah, feel free to talk while I'm reading, give reactions. This needs more hits. In my humble berry opinion, it needs more hits. So, I'm go ahead and give y'all the link. Chat, get your blankets and snacks. So true. So true. All right. Got my water. All right. And let's read along. Enterprising Young Men by arbitersart. Here's a summary. Technoblade, captain of the SS Syndicate, has taken on a ward. His stand-in navigations officer, Tommy, never had any intentions of landing himself on the hero's spaceship, or on his hero's spaceship, nor meeting his crew, nor being a part of it. He thinks his time with them will be short-lived, with the dark secret he hides behind his back and an intergalactic war on the horizon. At a crossroads with an old enemy, both must make a leap of trust. Who's there? Someone was pushing on my door. Don't they know I'm a streamer? The audacity. All right. Prompt mentor-mentee relationship. Content warning. This fic contains depictions of a panic attack and a non-graphic mention of stabbing. It also has mentions of emotional/verbal abuse typical to DSMP canon. Should you want to skip any of this content, pop in a comment. I can tell you where this section starts and ends. Anywho, have my fic that's just a combination of my love for Bedrock Bros, Bedrock Bros, marching bands/military formalities, and a sci-fi story I started to write way back in high school and then abandoned. I hope this even begins to make a lick of sense. Aww. This happy stimming. Aww. Good. I'm gonna turn off some of these things real quick on the screen. Make things less distracting for the viewer. Okay. Tommy had been cornered. He was alone in Logstershire, his makeshift home, his means of survival on the strange planet when the siege began. Truth be told, Tommy had no inkling that anyone else was on the planet with him until the invaders sank into the atmosphere and were met by fierce resistance from the native occupants. When the sky was nearly blotted out by the sheer mass of ships, he knew that there was no hiding from this. The structure he'd created was held up by timber and cave rocks, a pathetic little thing, but one he'd been able to call his home for the better part of 6 months. Within the walls, aside from the absolute necessities like his bed and makeshift cooking space, every other corner was filled with maps and calculations. Tommy is a survivor, a scrapper at heart, but even in the most dire of conditions, he is a cartographer to the core. I love my boy. Some of the maps are paper. Others are star maps etched out with plant juice, smeared onto the rock with his fingers. He is not just his own night sky fully illustrated, but every possible escape route and nearest friendly planet drawn out. He's always planned to one day leave this place. He just never anticipated the fall of the planet. Laser fire overhead tells Tommy enough. Gasp. Why am I gasping? I've read this. There's truly nowhere to run. He is to die in his cave, cornered there both by his abuser and the nature of intergalactic politics. Again, I'm gasping. But in the very least, he will die surrounded by what he loves. That has to count for something. When the walls rumble and shake, threatening collapse at last, Tommy curls up into his bed and prays it is quick. Then there is a noise. Or just is noise. Then there is noise. The sound of the camel's back breaking. Then there is pain. Then there is darkness. The darkness is not a peaceful sleep for Tommy. It is agony with his eyes closed, a refusal of his body to die while being utterly deprived of the sensation of living. He is not conscious for reinforcements, for an unassuming research ship to turn battle ready and into a very real threat against the invading fleet. A fantastic break against the odds. He is not conscious for the rescue mission. The very same research ship landing and coming to the immediate assistance of the native people, offering medical help, offering contact with the outside systems, offering their hearts as they dig through rubble for survivors. He is not conscious when the search and rescue bots alert the research ship's captain of a beating heart beneath a collapsed cave. A Terran, age 16, in critical condition. He is not conscious for the horror that settles in the captain's chest, the choked disbelief as he asks, "A child?" Nor the calloused hands that throw the rocks aside, digging, searching, racing against the clock. Tommy's eyes creak open at the sudden burst of light, and just barely through the haze of the pain, the fuzzy pull of pain and exhaustion that wants to tempt him back to sleep, does he see the silhouette of an angel in armor, a staturing figure reaching for him. Oh, help, I'm collapsing. Like his cave. No, that's so mean. Why would I say that? Oh my gosh. He is lifted out of the rubble and into someone's arms, as if he's a weightless child, and held to the chest of a Space Marine's bulky armor. Tommy doesn't have the capacity to think or to vocalize with the pain screaming in his body. He does barely make out the sound of a rumbling, nearly familiar voice as he slips back into sleep. "It's all right. I got you, kiddo. I've got you." Yeah, things are happening, chatters. Was that a pun I hear? No, not at all. What are you talking about? I would never make any punny jokes on this channel. Wink. All right. Oh, shoot. I forget who's who. You know what? Yes, I know you sent it to me, but I want to be correct. I remember you sent it to me like forever ago. I like how you just knew. Techno engineering. Helms is Wilbur, comms is Nikki, tackles Jack, and then the last line is techno. A bet. Prepare to exit hyperspace. Sorry, that's formatted weird. Oh, you're fine. I got you. Prepare to exit hyperspace. Approaching high pixel gate in a minute. All systems, report in. Engineering standing by. Helm standing by. Comms standing by. TACOP standing by. Navigations, report in. Navigations. Tommy jolts at the delayed recognition of his title, back straightening to attention as he whirls around. The entire deck is staring at him expectantly, some looking more irritated than others, but the most oppressive stare of them all is that of the captain. With his hands folded behind his back, an unreadably blank expression across it. Blank expression across his face. Navigation standing by, Tommy stutters. He receives a curt nod in response. Exiting hyperspace in 30 ticks. The captain walks to his chair in the back, and Tommy catches Jack, the tactician officer, scoffing lightly under his breath with a glare in Tommy's direction. Fucking rookie. Tommy flushes and pushes down the urge to walk across the deck and slug Jack a good one. Oh my goodness. Tee. Oh, hi Manny, welcome in. It's not that he's new at navigations. No, Tommy has been mapping the stars and memorizing the best routes through galaxies and meteor fields since his first time climbing on board a ship as a stowaway years ago. It's this whole structure thing he isn't used to. Rankings, being called on, and being expected to answer, always ending with a yes, captain, or no, corporal. He's content to just sit, gazing out the cockpit at the stars blurring together and flying by as the SS Syndicate weaves through the universe. He's the youngest on the ship, still a teenager, and it shows. Tommy doesn't mind too much. It's not his fault their captain put his faith in some shit stink kid who tried to stab him before the two even had a proper conversation. Speak of the devil, the captain descends the stairs, pale blue uniform flawless and clean, the golden plating displaying his rank glittering in the starlight. Captain Technoblade of the SS Syndicate. Every day, Tommy has to pinch himself as a reminder that this isn't all some crazy dream. He really has been adopted onto the ship headed by the most famous fleetsman and fighter in the stars. All right, Soot. Technoblade turns to their helmsman, who rotates in his chair, practically lounging, and sends Technoblade a wink. Well on our way, Techno. And the lackey? Tommy prickles at Wilbur's smile, as Wilbur's smile widens at the comment. The smug asshole. Wilbur may be the one showing Tommy the ropes, but he's still a righteous prick and outright weirdo. Doing his best to ignore Wilbur, Tommy instead commits to running his mouth before he can put on the filter. The lackey is right here and can speak for himself. Techno glances at Tommy from the corner of his eye, and Tommy's heart jumps as he realizes he's just talked back to the fucking captain and should really learn to control himself. But then Technoblade just smiles, as if they're sharing in on some secret. Good to hear. Keep your wits about you, Navigations. I took a chance on you. Tommy flushes once again, reminding himself of the ship necessities. Niceties. Niceties? Yes, Captain! The ship lurches, and the streaks of stars begin to unblur as they exit hyperspace, slowing to a standstill. The exit from hyperspace reveals several structures of nearly incomprehensible scale, glowing cyan holographic gates on their right and left, the gates of Hypixel and Skyblock. The hologates were critical in the revolution of space travel, something invented decades before Tommy was even born. He likes to think of them as great big slides for spaceships to go down at extraordinary speed without the structural integrity. Without the structural integrity of the ship's hulls experiencing natural forces of physics. A bit mind-boggling, if you ask Tommy. He only knows the basics from his childhood schooling. Anything more advanced, he was definitely asleep for. Their goal is to dock in the Skyblock system, their official home base, and refuel, reload, and repair after the skirmish in the Exile system. Technoblade has also made indications of officially indoctrinating Tommy into the code, which meant he'll be getting a uniform, official title, and a record. In truth, Tommy doesn't know if this is what he fully wants. He's thrilled to be on a massive hunk of metal in space next to his hero, no doubt, but Tommy has to be great at operating solo. So much so that being a part of a team, having someone to report to, and being shackled beneath so many useless rules have him itchy, squeamish. He always has the option of making a mad dash as soon as they land. It's what he's always done, after all. But after nights at a dinner table filled with friendly faces, for the most part, days spent in the training room with Phil teaching him to use an energy sword, and access to endless maps of the known universe, Tommy has felt more secure here than he has probably since he was a small child. Oh. Tommy looks down at the spread before him, a touchscreen map marking their own ship with a dot. As soon as they touch down from hyperspace, another appears on screen in front of one of the hologates. Tommy immediately presses it for its ID, seeing as it's directly in the way of their path, sitting in front of the Skyblock gate. The ID number that pops up, turns Tommy's blood to ice. 991208-XD. He sees a smiley face mask in his memories. The echo of a smug voice telling him to put all his things, his valuables, his reasons to live in an airlock. The captain of the 991208-XD, whose favorable reputation with several intergalactic alliances hides sick experimentation and hunger for ultimate power. Tommy has been carrying this secret since he first escaped to Logsterdshire. And now, of course, thanks to his careless trust in other people, the ghosts of his past have come back to haunt him. He has a job, he reminds himself. He can't let them know. They can never know. Fleet 991208-XD in path, Captain, Tommy manages to say, his own voice sounding far away to him. He has to act normal. But apparently, that isn't his crewmates' prerogative. The tone of the room shifts abruptly. Sudden tension so thick it snaps Tommy back into his own body. Wilbur whirls around in his chair, looking equal parts alarmed as Tommy feels on the inside, and Technoblade rises to his feet. Helms, put us at a halt, Techno commands Wilbur, then turning to Nikki. Comms, do not send out the all-clear signal for hyperspace until I specifically tell you to. Yes, Captain. What's going on? Tommy asks. He's promptly ignored as Jack stands to look at Technoblade. Captain, we have no artillery to handle a skirmish. I know. Wilbur seems to remember that Tommy is there, and with a grim expression tells him, "That's an SMP ship. We're not exactly on great terms with them." Technoblade cuts in. "No need to sugarcoat it, Wilbur. We're on the verge of war with SMP. You might as well know. You might as well know now." Tommy's head spins. Do they know Dream? Are they against him? Dream has a ridiculously respectable reputation outside of his ties with SMP as a fighter pilot and captain. Tommy knows he's extremely secretive with his underground operations. There's no way a Skyblock ship would know. But war? How would they stand a chance against the intergalactic system's largest growing alliance? This is just one ship. What are they doing here? Patrols aren't scheduled, Jack says. Doesn't matter, Technoblade responds. We can't sit idle here, but we cannot cross paths with them either. Navigation, we need an alternate route to Skyblock. Once again, all eyes in the room land on Tommy. He desperately wants to ask so many questions, to at least take a moment and process what's going on, but he can't. He has a job to do. An alternate route to Skyblock that doesn't take them through its specific hologate. Tommy doesn't even need to look at his map. We can take the Hypixel gate, Tommy starts, picturing the path in his head. Once we arrive at Hypixel, we'll have to bypass the quake to get to a different gate that will take us to Skyblock. We'll burn more fuel, but we can probably utilize the soul's gravitational pull for a slingshot maneuver. He expects Techno to ask him to project the map for proof, or a visual, or something. But despite the fact that everyone else in the room has been looking at Tommy questioningly for every move he's made in the past month since being here, Techno exhibits no interest in burning the time. Helms, redirect us to the Hypixel gate. You got it. Comms, send out the all-clear for hyperspace. Let's get out of here as quickly as possible. TAC Ops, keep an eye on XD for any signs of an assault. Yes, Captain. I love Technoblade in this fanfic so much. The ship rotates to the left, and peeking through the glass, Tommy can see the imposing SMP ship lying in wait in front of the Skyblock gate. It's not uncommon for some ships to idle in these zones, pending travel approvals and communications with galactic systems, but it's rare to see such a high-profile ship at a standstill, as if it's waiting for something. Tommy is intimately familiar with that ship. He's roamed its halls and sat in a cell kept far away from the standard operations of space life. Though he's free of his cage, safe inside the syndicate, amongst crew members who don't know his origins and don't care enough to ask, the sight still puts a nervous chill down his spine. The tension in the air has dissipated with the solution and quick escape at hand. And it should be a relief to Tommy, a sign that his expertise are trusted without question, especially since he didn't even bat an eyelash at their informal declaration of war against SMP. Not my phone telling me to go to bed. Shut up. I'm reading. I'm reading something very important right now. But something doesn't feel right. He watches Wilbur pilot the ship away from the SMP craft, listens to Nikki sending out a signal to all broadcasts both of their exit from hyperspace and their subsequent route, and a sickening sense of dread pools in his stomach. His eyes trained on XD. It's completely still, strangely facing the Hypixel gate despite being in front of Skyblock. Tommy glances over at the Skyblock gate when he catches it. Anyone could mistake it as a trick on the eyes, the stars being unpredictable. But the dull flash of white, small and seemingly insignificant, catches his eye. Cloaking technology is in its baby steps. Very few even have access to it, and those who do know the little signs to look out for. "Stop the ship," Tommy whispers, almost too quiet to be detectable. Wilbur turns around. "What?" "It's a trap. They're flying into a trap." "Stop the ship!" "Huh?" Techno squawks, then pinches his face as if remembering his position. "What's the matter?" "It's an ambush!" Tommy exclaims. "They're cloaked!" "Impossible," Techno shoots back. "Cloaking technology isn't fully developed, much less available to SMP fleets." "Besides, your own map has them tracked right in front of Skyblock," Jack accuses. Nervous chatter breaks out in the room, and Tommy feels a pit forming in his stomach. Techno is looking at him apprehensively. "I saw a flash of the shield. They're cloaked," he argues. But did anyone else?" "Listen to me," Tommy cries desperately. He thinks of a condescending voice asking him, "Are you sure you can trust your eyes, Tommy? You've been so tired lately." He won't take it anymore. "I know what I saw." "Then what about the SMP ship in front of the Skyblock gate?" Wilbur asks. He doesn't seem as critical as the others, but Tommy finds his stare unnerving nonetheless. "It's a projection, a fake out to lead us to the Hypixel gate." "SMP ships shouldn't have that tech either," Technoblade says. "But that one does!" Tommy yells, desperately jabbing a finger towards what looks like empty space. "That ship, 991208XD, has advanced tech that other ships do not. Technoblade, if we fly into that gate, you are going to kill us all." His shrill voice echoes through the room, cutting all murmuring into stunned silence, save the beeps from their monitors. Technoblade looks at Tommy with an unreadably blank expression after having just been yelled at by a peon, a nobody. Tommy's heart races, his brain already forming plans for what he gets for when he gets booted off the ship, assuming they make it out of this. If he's lucky, they'll drop him off planet side. If he's not, it's in an escape pod and on his own, most likely the latter. "Helms," Technoblade turns to Wilbur. "Reroute us again to Skyblock. Everyone strap in. We may need to utilize evasive maneuvers." My little abandonment issues boy. Hee hee. Ah! Ah! Wordlessly, Tommy sinks back into his chair, pulling the straps over his chest once again. Wilbur steers the ship back towards the right, directly in the path of what appears to be the SMP ship. He knows he's right. Deep down, he knows. But if everyone else in the room is against him, maybe he isn't. Maybe he's wrong. He can't afford to be wrong. Almost immediately, Nikki speaks up. "Captain, message from 991208XD alerting for a path reroute. They claim they're stopped for maintenance." "Request their coordinates." "Requesting." Phil looks curiously at the captain, but Tommy holds his breath, realizing what he's doing. Coord requests are coded to be precise. Moving around them for cloaking technology would be both difficult and very illegal. The ship floats closer to the hologram, and Tommy grows even more anxious. "Captain, they've resent the same request marked urgent," Nikki says. "Resend our request then. Phil, get the course of the ship dead ahead so we can match." "Requesting." "Retrieving." "Navigations, keep an eye on the map to spot any unusual activity." Yes, sir. Tommy grips the edge of his monitor like a lifeline, watching them slowly make their way towards the hologram. It doesn't move. It doesn't show any signs of life at all. Nikki speaks up. Captain, a pending call from XD is coming through. Put it through. A holographic audio visualizer floats above their heads, and Tommy's heart leaps into his throat as the voice of Sapnap booms through the room. XD to SBI. Abort path or we will contact the proper authorities. What is the meaning of this? Tommy hears the hissing whisper of Jack and glances over to see him whispering to Nikki, looking enraged. The rest of the crew looks doubtful, nervous, and with every second they hurtle closer to the XD projection, the more Tommy feels it with them. The desperation in Snapnaps. No, Sapnap. Oh my gosh. You know what? Fine. Snapchat. The desperation in Snapchat's voice. I need water. The desperation in Sapnap's voice sounds so real, but Tommy knows him. He knows a liar. This is Captain Technoblade speaking. Techno sits in his chair, not looking concerned in the slightest. Confirm your coords, XD, and we will do so. This is insanity! 92.84. Send the coordinates, officer. That is an order. A loaded pause over the screen, and then a sigh of frustration. Their screen blips with a number on screen. 92.846.5558. Technoblade turns to Phil, who shakes his head. Tommy holds his breath. 991208-XD, Techno says after a moment, gazing at the projection with a deathly sort of calm about him. Why aren't your maintenance lights on? The entire room stills at the silence from the other end fills every corner. Then the line goes dead. Tommy's monitor blinks as another dot, unlabeled, blinks into view, directly outside of the skyblock gate. His blood runs cold, and he, with the rest of the crew, looks to the left and sees a duplicate ship of the one directly ahead, except this one moves for them fast, with lights around its parameters, the telltale sign of cannons charging. Captain, I know, Tommy. Comms, send a signal ship wide for evasive maneuvers. Wilbur, get us out of here. Jack, still sputtering at the sight of an SMP ship charging for them, shakes himself out of his stupor and straps into his chair, turning focused. Loading up what ammunition we have. Nikki flicks the microphone on her headset down and holds down a button, her voice coming through the speakers. All officers prepare for evasive maneuvers and hyperspace effective immediately. We are under immediate threat. The atmosphere of the floor changes. Around him, every crew member starts firing off call signs as Wilbur takes the steering manually. The entire ship lurches to speed towards the gate. The goal is unanimous and unspoken. There will be no engaging in battle if it can be helped. They just need to make it to the skyblock gate. XD on our right! Tommy calls out, eyes going from his monitor to the front window to the room around him. Putting shields up around our right, Jack replies in turn. Calls and responses are fired back and forth, and through the panic, Tommy feels the team's focus, lets it guide his hands and his mind, until the SBI lines up with the skyblock gate. We're in a bit far from the launch point, but we can make it, Wilbur calls over his shoulder. Techno asks, do we have approval to cross? Awaiting approval, Nikki replies, bouncing her leg nervously. Jack barks, Captain, the cannons are going to fire. Nikki, approval received. Gun it now. Tommy catches a glimpse of one of their cannons firing, but Wilbur doesn't hesitate to thrust the switch forward. Two holographic arms materialize on either side of the ship, locking them into the hologate and hurtling them forward out of battle. There is a moment of pure tension, waiting for the other ship to join them in the gate. It's not common, but not unheard of either. We're clear, Tommy announces, looking at his tracker. It's just us in the holo. A sigh of relief washes through the room, and Wilbur melts into his seat, head tilted back. Still, they cannot fully relax, not with the implications of what just happened. Should I file a formal declaration of war? Nikki asks quietly, her voice still the loudest thing in the room. Technoblade stands from his chair with a stretch and a thoughtful expression. No, not yet. That wasn't an act of war. That was an ambush. It wasn't like the SMP. They had to know we were vulnerable. Are they in contact with the Empire then? Jack asks, arms crossed and brow furrowed in thought. We shouldn't discuss this now. We'll talk more tomorrow. I, for one, am exhausted. What's our ETA, Wilbur? 3 days to Skyblock? Skyblock system. 3 days to Skyblock system. Sounds like bedtime to me. Notify your graveyard shifts to take your places. Otherwise, you are all dismissed. We have a lot to talk about tomorrow. Like their lives weren't threatened mere minutes before, the crew begins chattering among themselves and working to make contacts with the other crew members who will watch the place overnight. Tommy has no such replacement, having filled that empty position, so he's the first to gather his things up, eager to make a quick exit. He's called too much attention to himself already. Hey, Wilbur calls to Tommy just as he's making his way up the ramp to his quarters. Tommy turns towards the helm, where Wilbur sends him a smile. Good job today. Tommy manages a weak smile. He'll miss Wilbur. Thanks. Oh. Man, that was intense. Like the circus, that was intense. Woo! I like that bit. I like it how it's like fast, like back to forth. It's very cinematic. Shut up, Instagram. Dad, I know. You're in a group chat. It's awesome. Alright. The scheming begins as soon as the door to Tommy's quarters shut. He throws himself onto his pseudo bunk bed and immediately curls up into the fetal position, trying to slow his breathing. I hold Tommy and throw him at the wall. I picked it up and I threw it on the ground. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna read this bit over again. The scheming begins as soon as the door to Tommy's quarters shut. He throws himself onto his pseudo bunk bed and immediately curls up into the fetal position, trying to slow his breathing. He'd saved the day, sure, but in doing so, he's basically announced to the entire ship that he knows much more than he's ever let on in these past 2 weeks. Specifically, government secrets held by the most powerful and nefarious man in the intergalactic system. If Technoblade doesn't throw Tommy off the ship himself for risking their operation and lying to him, he'll do something worse. Maybe keep Tommy around for more information. He is enemies with SMP after all, but then after that, he'll just discard Tommy on another nowhere planet. Turn him into the authorities, put him up for blackmail. It's a shame, really. The past month has been the best in Tommy's recent memory. Everything he's received, he's gotten to keep longer than anything he had in exile. He should have known better than to let his guard down, but it felt natural being here, being underneath Technoblade's wing. You plan on wearing your Julie sweats in a That is actually hype. I hope you find a Juliberry fan in the wild. One of my friends messaged me saying that they did. And like, oh my gosh, that was so exciting to hear. So he's never had a teacher before. Not just a school teacher. Someone who teaches just him. Someone who has expectations beyond just showing up. And when Tommy can't meet those expectations, tells him to try again, try better. Someone who sees something in him. Tommy reaches for the nearest thing, his floppy pillow, and hurls it at the wall, the frustration in his chest welling over like hot magma. He keels over and punches his mattress a couple times, a strangled cry falling through gritted teeth. It's not fair. Everything he touches is ruined. Everyone he loves has to abandon. He falls asleep, mentally mapping out every place in the nearby systems he can survive, every crevice in the ship he can hide inside if necessary. His mind doesn't stop running, even as sleep takes him. Oh. Bye. I'm sad. Emotional damage. Back on the deck, Technoblade is angry. Angry at many things. Angry at the SMP, angry at whoever let them get their hands on cloaking technology, and yes, just a bit angry with his team. It's his job not to let it show, though. He has to represent the ideal here, even when his crew nearly failed him. The implications of tonight's events will keep Techno up all night, plotting their next move. XD is more dangerous than ever. Dream is more dangerous than ever. Tommy's already excused himself to his quarters, and despite him being the hero of the night, Techno knows they've taken 3 steps backwards. Tommy knows more than he lets on, and he's afraid for it. Techno's worked hard in the past few weeks to ensure that Tommy knows that he won't be hurt here. He gets the inkling that they're back to square one. It hadn't been easy getting Tommy to even look at him in the eye at first. In fact, Tommy had done anything but that the first time he woke up in the med bay, reflexively grabbing a nearby scalpel and plunging it into Technoblade's hand and trying to run away. Oh my gosh, only to get caught by about a dozen cords, the strains of his injuries knocking him out again. The first thing Technoblade had noticed about Tommy was his determination to live, despite the darkness in his dull blue eyes. With the bandages, equipment, Tommy had reached out and grabbed Technoblade's sleeve, gripping it for dear life and imploring Technoblade not to kill him, saying he would do anything. So Technoblade had given Tommy all the maps he could uncover from the wreckage. Tommy's first instinct was to run away with them and hide, self-preservation at its finest. Maybe that's when he knew that he would take Tommy under his wing, making an offer for shelter and food in exchange for Tommy's mapping expertise. He was surprised when the boy accepted, albeit very hesitantly. Techno had made no mention of making him a permanent member of the crew, but Tommy began to live like one, training included. Sparring was difficult. Their first round, Techno had just raised his arm and Tommy flinched so hard it surprised both of them. So Techno had started him on sword lessons as well, something to give Tommy security and control. He taught Tommy the safety of using an energy sword, every part that made it what it was. Then came the stances: center, parry, diag, hang, inside, right, left, again. And as Tommy learned about the sword, he learned about his body. Technoblade would stand on the sidelines and run drills, watching Tommy snap into each stance with fewer and fewer mistakes each round. Center, parry, diag, hang, inside, right, left, again. Center, parry. He droned over and over again until Tommy's brow glistened with sweat and every movement brought more strength. His shoulders began to unsag themselves. His chin would lift. And when they went back to sparring, Tommy would still flinch, but every time Techno's odds of winning would shrink just a bit. Me writing this section thinking about marching band drills, lol. Bro, I love that. As Tommy learned his way around the ship and crew, he learned about his mind. After understanding that his maps were going to be taken from him, and yes, he did have access to the Code's library of galactic maps, his personality began to unfold. Technoblade would sit at the desk next to Tommy's during their downtime, personally seeing to Tommy's familiarity with the system. Admittedly, it's a lot to trust a random kid with, but there's something familiar and nostalgic about Tommy's wonder, something that has Techno softening, though he'd never admit it. In the past month, Tommy has gone from a frail kid in their medbay to a rambunctious addition to their crew. For every prank played, jab made, and insult hurled, there's a glistening potential and brilliance that shines through, as well as a dark past he refuses to elucidate on. That's fine, as long as it takes for Tommy to understand that he can have a home here. Technoblade is willing to wait. Undeniably, Tommy fits, even if not everyone in his crew sees it yet. Jack, Nikki, Connor, Wilbur, and Phil are still taking care of their last tasks. Dude, Connor, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Does he still make content? I just remember he was the one in the Sonic suit. When did I add that guy in here? He's just just there. Oh, man. He was in prison and then the syndicate, so... Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. He was in the prison when Technoblade broke Dream out. Oh my gosh. Oof. Stretching. What a silly guy. What a silly, silly guy. Connor eats pants. Alright, let's read this section again. Jack, Nikki, Connor, Wilbur, and Phil are still taking care of their last tasks, so Technoblade takes the opportunity to walk to the front, his back to the massive porthole out to space, standing right next to the navigations desk. They start looking up expectantly, some sheepishly. They know what's coming. That kid saved our asses tonight. He starts, waiting as the room falls still. Whether you like it or not, and I know some of you don't, he's the reason that we not only escaped, but escaped unscathed. All because he noticed the glimmer of the cloak. Now, I don't know how he knew to spot that, but what I do know is this. He turns deadly serious, thinking of the late nights he'd seen Tommy sparring with the AI in the training room. Dude, Arby predicted AI. What the hell? What the hell? How did you know? Sorry. Oh, man. Lol, sure. He's seen sparring with the AI in the room. Tommy is under... Sorry. Ugh, I'm in the zone. Tommy is under my instruction. He's also under my protection. When you choose not to put your trust in him, you're choosing not to trust me. And if you can't do that, this crew doesn't work. Am I understood? Yes, Captain, Wilbur says almost immediately. His teammates echo the same, until just Jack Manifold hasn't answered. He looks at the ground for a moment more, and then mumbles out, Yes, Captain. Technoblade represses a sigh. He knows why they're on edge, and in some regards, he can't blame them. The past few months have been heavy. It certainly isn't Tommy's fault by any means, but it's shaken the Syndicate's trust of outsiders for sure. We're still looking for Rambo. We won't stop until we've found him. I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Oh. We're still looking for Rambo. We won't stop until we found him. Techno continues, more sympathetic, and we're getting very close. But I need my crew behind me 100%. In a week, we'll go planetside, and I'll be fitting Tommy for a uniform. He is not replacing what we've lost. He'll be a new face for Rambo to meet when we bring him home. A new understanding seems to settle over the room. They're united again, in the same way they had been the day Rambo was taken. The grief and anger had nearly been unbearable, but it had brought them all indescribably close. But Technoblade will not exclude his ward on the basis of such extreme conditions. Now go get dinner. You're all hangry and it's making the vibes here wretched, he finishes, washing their palates clean with humor. The tension breaks and Technoblade gets a few smiles as they head out, leaving just himself and Phil, his right-hand man. Tommy's hiding something, Phil tells him with no venom. This is why they're partners, best friends. There's no judgment in Phil's tone, no indication of swaying Techno one way or the other. He just tells him what's in front of them, a way of asking Techno's thought process. I know, Techno nods, but I knew that from the first time I talked to him. We can't force anything out of the kid. He's had a rough go of it already. Do you think he's involved? Phil asks. Because then it's much larger than just Tommy. SMP could be connected to a much larger conspiracy. I'm positive he's involved, Technoblade confirms. But if we're committing to uncovering this, we have to be careful every step of the way. We just alerted SMP that we have knowledge we shouldn't, which makes us an even bigger target than we were before. We have to act accordingly. Phil nods, then looks to the door. You hungry? No, I have some investigating to do. He goes to walk away when Phil interrupts him mid-stride. Tech, how did you know Tommy was telling the truth about the cloaks? Technoblade pauses, thinking carefully to the memory of them barreling towards a projection, one that looked damn convincing. I didn't, he says. I love that bit so much. I screenshotted it and sent it to Arby in a DM, and I'm all like, bro, this has me shook. And then he goes, I totally added that last minute. Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh, I clapped my hands like really hard, bro. That actually hurt. Wow. Unwavering faith, baby. Unwavering faith. All right, here we go. Back to the British boy. Tommy wakes up hungry. Of course he does. Everyone had gone to dinner, and he had gone straight to bed, too afraid to face the crew. He can sneak in the kitchen. It's always open. And checking the time, he's almost certain that everyone he knows is going to be fast asleep. Perfect. He'll steal a snack. In and out. In and out. And maybe he'll hoard some extras, in case he gets thrown off tomorrow morning. He stretches, grimacing at the overly loose fabric from his hand-me-down uniform, their smallest size, but Tommy was scrawny and malnourished when they found him, and stands from his cot, wandering out of his quarters and down the empty hall towards the kitchen. Tommy sighs in relief when he finds it empty. He digs through the refrigerator and finds the meal of the night in a container, hesitating before ultimately deciding to stay here and eat. He can take it back to his room at his own disclosure, but at that point, it just feels kind of pathetic. So he sits at the table alone, stirring his bowl of pasta and meat, when the sliding door opens and Tommy's heart drops into his stomach. The captain is out of his uniform, donning nothing more than a graphic t-shirt and sweatpants, when his eyes fall on Tommy. He doesn't seem taken off guard at all. In fact, he looks like he's been expecting Tommy there, still intimidating with a Cheez-It t-shirt on. I have sweatpants and a graphic t-shirt on too, except mine has BKDK on it, because I'm a weeb. Anywho. Tommy freezes like a cornered animal, fork halfway to his mouth as he and Technoblade make eye contact. At first, the captain simply walks to the kitchen and takes out a mug, pouring himself a cup of hot water and dropping a tea bag in it. Tommy thinks maybe he's off the hook. It's late, after all. Wee hours, even. And he's sure Techno just wants to go back to sleep. When Technoblade walks over to his table, every part of his brain screams for him to run. Instead, he stays rooted in his chair. Fun fact, I almost gave him a shirt that said baby girl just for lols. No way. No way. Oh my gosh. That is gold. That is so iconic. Mind if I join you? Whatever. No, it is not whatever. He should run. He should go. But here he is, letting Technoblade sit across from him, a cup of tea in one hand, creamer in the other. Maybe it's the past month of training, the slow, the agonizing process of learning not to cower into a ball when Technoblade spars with him. The times Technoblade has given him funny looks when Tommy surrenders all of his things at the slightest mistake. Maybe that was his goal all along. Get Tommy's guard down. Get him to trust his captain so he could deal the most damage. Well, Tommy will have to take it either way, but he can at least go down cussing. He waits for the anvil to fall. Reference. Shoveling pasta in his mouth, but Technoblade just sits, sipping his tea, occasionally glancing up at Tommy. This process lathers, rinses, repeats until Tommy can't take the silence anymore. Well, spit it out already, he scoffs. You've clearly got something to say. Techno pours a bit of creamer into his tea with a flash of a smile. You made a good call today. It saved our skins, and you stood your ground when everyone else was against you. That takes guts. The words are like a spear directly through Tommy's heart, a warmth followed by so much pain he wants to collapse. He'd do anything to hear Techno say them again. He never wants to hear them again. He knows they'll be used against him. Yeah, and? He spits, using fire, using venom, using anything he has in his arsenal if it means Technoblade will take it back. What, you want the Pulitzer or something? Pulitzer? Ooh. What is this? Tell me, Google. It's fine. Just ask me how I know, man. Ask me how I know about the fucking cloaking tech, he explodes, throwing his hands up. It's been eating at him since he let it slip, taking a calculated risk that he'd still make again, but is quickly learning to regret as his imagination spirals with consequences. Technoblade, ever the headstrong machine, simply shrugs. I don't care about you recognizing cloak tech, Tommy. Government secrets don't matter that much to me. He pauses, and his next words send a sharp wave of panic through Tommy's veins. I want to know how you know Dream. Oh! Dun dun dun. Now, Tommy's body screams at him to run, the overpowering panic drowning him as the room seems to shrink. The captain at the epicenter. Dream, dream, dream. The smiley mask that haunts his waking moment, the soft, soothing tone of his voice that erode him into submission time and time again. How do you know Dream? What is he meant to answer? What is the right answer that will reduce as much harm as possible? The Syndicate is enemies with SMP. Dream has ties with the SMP. But does Technoblade know this? They were rivals. Rifles? They were rivals. Playful rivals. Often found on the same side of things. Tommy could tell him that he and Dream were friends. There's still a small part of him that believes that's true. Or he could say that Dream tormented him for months. That Dream has plans. That Dream is a monster with no true moral north. Which answer will get Tommy off the ship in one piece? One Piece? One Piece. Oh my gosh, One Piece reference. I watched the show today with my dad, sorry. Dream is one of sorry. I'm sorry. Dream is maybe 3 people with any standing in the intergalactic system to have possession of cloaks. Techno's voice sounds far away, muddled, but the low sound has that same soothing effect on Tommy, a grounding effect of sorts. Even here, his mind betrays him, wearing over the friend or foe sitting at the table with him. Technoblade continues. He's my best guess as to how you would know, and going by your expression, I think I'm right. I don't know him. Tommy slips out, but it doesn't sound convincing in the slightest. He knows. Technoblade knows. He waits for something, anything, but Techno just leans forward a bit more, still calm as rain. Tommy, Technoblade says, you need to breathe in. I don't know him, I swear. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not going to throw you away. His words are like a raft in a choppy sea, something to cling onto as the panic continues to rage in his mind and chest. Tommy takes a breath in with his stomach, as he'd been taught to do. He tries to come back. As he exhales, a broken wheeze comes out. Help me, he whispers. Techno reaches over and wraps his fingers around Tommy's wrist. Not tight or hurtful, just firm, grounding. Let me, Technoblade implores. Bye. I can't. I'm like shaking a little bit. He comes around eventually. Oh, wait. Sorry. I skipped a whole paragraph. Tommy finds his breath again. Slowly, painstakingly. He centers himself around Technoblade, kneeling on an altar of his own vulnerability and waiting for the guillotine to drop. It doesn't. Steam rolls off of the tea, and Tommy's dinner sits half abandoned, and they sit and breathe together. He comes around eventually, barely having to move before Techno releases his wrist. For a moment, Tommy feels astray, cast out with no safety, but he takes another breath in and finds himself again. He can do this. Technoblade doesn't say anything. It should be worrying to Tommy, but now that he's come down, he's more tired than anything. Whatever happens next, happens. They're both silent for 2 full minutes, and Tommy begins to realize that Technoblade is waiting for him to speak first. He tries to turn over the conversation in his mind, to find a place to start with his long, difficult history with Dream. He can start where Techno is most familiar. He can give him this much. I was in Loxtonshire before, because I was running from Dream. Tommy speaks quickly to get the words out of him as fast as possible. He and I'm not associated with SMP at all. Tommy, I want nothing to do with them. You have to believe me. I believe you. Techno cuts in, probably preventing another episode. Look, kid, you're not in trouble. Got it? I couldn't care less if you know every government secret. And I don't think you're a threat to me at all. Unless you suddenly start swinging. Just let me clue you in, okay? Tommy takes a shaky breath. Oh, okay. Technoblade looks somewhat relieved at this, taking a sip of his tea as Tommy realizes that the captain looks just as stressed as he feels. It's subtler, but he picks up on the little things. I don't know what you think my relationship with Dream is, but I think it'll be some relief to you to know that he is not our ally. He hasn't been for some time. I don't know what the guy did to get you like this, but his interests are far divorced from ours after the fall of L'Manberg. The official statement of SMP is Dream went AWOL, but we're fairly sure this information is faked to hide him taking over. Tommy has to lace his fingers together and squeeze to avoid tapping the table nervously. He's well aware of this, being Dream's apprentice turned prisoner over the course of a few months. You have to stay here, Tommy. You can't just go off inciting rebellions. See what happened to L'Manberg? That was your fault. He smoothed Tommy's hair down gently. You're dangerous, Tommy, he crooned, but not to me. Oh, ew, icky man, icky. Any negotiations with him were voided. 2 months ago, we engaged in a skirmish and SMP was on the opposite side. During the chaos, we lost a valued member of our crew, and we believe Dream has some connection to Rambu's disappearance. Tommy's breath catches, and the wretched memories come flooding back as he reflectively gasps, Rambu? 2 boys in separate cells, side by side, the apprentice and the experiment, both tormented in their own right. The Terran with a declining will to live, and the Kepler with the faulty memory. 2 peas in a miserable, rotten pod. Rambu had been his friend. First, through little notes exchanged with their names scrawled on, and the occasional, "Are you okay?" On occasion, they'd be alone to talk. Rambu was funny, even though he was afraid. He was able to temporarily coax a smile out of Tommy, a feeling that had slowly become alien to him. Companionship. Allium duochrome, we win these! The guilt of leaving Rambu alone in that place had threatened to eat Tommy alive on numerous occasions. He knows it's not really his fault. Dream had driven him out. Tommy had acted out of self-preservation. But in doing so, he left the only friend he had in the fray. Now here he is, the serpent eating its own tail. Oh. Poetry! I'm reading poetry! What? Technoblade looks as though he'd been slapped. It's the first time Tommy's seen him look truly taken off guard. You know him? He asks incredulously. You know Rambo? You know him? Wait, which one's British? You know him? Techno balks his eyes out cartoonishly, seemed to bug out of his head. A million different exasperated expressions crossed his face. Of course I know Rambu. He's my 3rd officer. I've been combing the galaxy for the little weirdo, and you've known him the whole time? Well, excuse me for not saying anything. I was a little focused on looking after my own tail. Tommy squawks. Reality begins to settle on his shoulders, the dots slowly connecting. Rambu had mentioned being on a ship, having a crew. He'd never mentioned he was on a crew with fucking Technoblade. Hi, Kim. Hello, Kim. Hi, Kim. Welcome in. Yes, we were reading some SBI Bedrock Bros fanfiction. We missed you last Date with Death. You'll have to look back on the VOD because, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's just say, Pookie was mentioned. Alright, now Technoblade is looking for his missing crewmate, who disappeared and reappeared by Tommy's side. This entire ship is looking for him, and Tommy has the answer. You're right, Techno, Tommy admits. Technoblade's eyes light up. Dream took him. I know this because I was there with him. All those months with Dream. Technoblade sits back, swallowing heavily, his mind clearly processing 100 different thoughts. So I was right. Tommy nods, feeling somewhat guilty. Why didn't he say something sooner? I'm making Japanese curry, so I'll be lurking. Well, thank you so much for the alert, Kim. Mwah! Why didn't he say something sooner? Is he still there? Arby, I'm gonna fight you. / pause. What? Hello? Arby has sent me fan art. I'm freaking out. Am I allowed to show chat after I read? Is that allowed? Ooh. I will show you chat after. Yippee! Okay. Is he still there? I think so. When I escaped, I couldn't take him with me. Tommy's breath catches, and he pauses to collect himself. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Techno just shakes his head. Don't. Blaming yourself is a fruitless task. Fruitless? I'm a fruit. What? What you've done... Sorry. I meant like berries, you know? Get it? I'm tired. I make puns when I'm tired. What you've told me... What you've told me gets us so much closer to finding Rambu. You're our key in. With a deep breath, Tommy nods. That's right. After months inside that ship, he has more information than he knows what to do with. He knows the cell Rambu is kept in, the layout of the hallways and rooms. Being Dream's prisoner also meant overhearing quite a bit. Now sitting at the mess hall table, Tommy is no longer alone in his fight against Dream. He has the blade. He has the entire syndicate at his back. Tommy, if we're going to get Rambu back, we need absolute trust in each other, Technoblade explains. I'm going to ask you something difficult, and if you can, tell me everything. You have my word that nothing you say will leave this room unless you explicitly want it to. In return, as your mentor, I swear my life to you. As long as I can swing, Dream will not hurt you. Hesitantly, Tommy asks, what is it you want to know? Technoblade reaches out, offering his arm, and Tommy reaches to grab the edge of his sleeve, just like he did in the med bay a month ago. It is a silent agreement, an offering of a lifeline. Techno looks into Tommy's eyes, something dark and knowing in his own. He already has a clue, surely, and it surprises Tommy to see the edges of anger on his face. But Tommy isn't afraid. The anger isn't towards him. It's for him. What did he do to you? Emotional damage. Moving on. Oh, I loved this. I love this part. Also, that part had my whole soul. I'm literally sobbing. Bye. The material isn't as uncomfortable as Tommy had originally anticipated. Sure, the fabric's a bit stiff, especially around the shoulders, but it's a good kind of stiff. Keeps his back straight and shoulders squared, just like they're meant to. It's a pale shade of blue, with gold and maroon accents. Old-fashioned without being cheesy. Tommy finds he likes the sight of him in his dress uniform more than he'd thought. He's unrecognizable in the mirror. His cheeks are filled back out. He stands taller, broader, more muscular. There are no bruises or scrapes on his face, and for the first time in a long time, there's light in his eyes. The uniform doesn't feel like a restriction. It feels like belonging. Are you ready? Phil asks from the doorway, wearing a nearly identical uniform of his own. The only difference is the golden epaulant on his shoulder, lined with tassels and pins of recognition. I'm just going to say words like multiple times and hope that one of them is right. You know. Epaule. Epaule. Thanks. The golden epaule on his shoulder, lined with tassels and pins of recognition. Arby, my #1 translator. If y'all look in like my highlights, remember it like think lel? I think lol. Okay. You're good. Nah, that's fine. The domesticity. Oh, why did I say it like that? No, yeah, it's in highlights. Epaulet. The golden epaulet on his shoulder, lined with tassels and pins of recognition. Epaulette. Oh, epaulette. Epaulette. Just leave me here to rot. It's fine. It's fine. Julie can't read. She likes reading fanfiction, but she can't read. I've been pronouncing it wrong my whole life. Nice. You know what? I pronounced notifications notifications for a good 2 years in middle school. And no one ever corrected me until I was in the car with my dad. So... And also, I couldn't pronounce incredulous until Danny, finally got it into my brain, so... It's all a big learning process. Fanfiction helps. Fanfiction helps me read. No one corrected me on epitome until high school. Wow! Can't believe you're... Oh my goodness. No one corrected you? They aren't your real friends. They aren't real. You pronounce it like that too? That's wrong. That's wrong? Is it epitome? Wait, epitome. I said epitome the first time. What's it pronounced? Epitome. Epitome? That's stupid. Who pronounces it like that? That's wrong. I'm sorry. Whoever said that our way was epitome. That's so weird. All words are made up. So interesting. Well, I'm here for the angel. You got that right, sister. Yep. Alright. I'm time to read my angel duo crumbs. I think so. Tommy swallows, taking one last look in the mirror for anything out of place, any pieces of lint that may be there. Phil shows up behind him, a fond smile on his face. He dusts off Tommy's shoulders and pokes at his spine, making Tommy flinch and stand up a bit straighter. There you go. Now you're ready. Did you have to poke me like I'm a specimen? Yes, Phil laughs. Don't be nervous, mate. The whole thing is very guided. We won't put you on the spot. All you have to say is yes, but only if you want to. Tommy frowns, suddenly feeling too small in his uniform. I do want to. I mean, I just... He sighs. You're also qualified, official. I'm just worried I won't, fit in. Phil squeezes his shoulder. Tommy, you already do. He looks at Tommy so sincerely. It makes him squirm a bit. He's not used to the attention or believing someone when they say they want him around. But here he is. Believing Phil. Tommy nods, taking a deep breath. All right, I'm ready. Wilbur waits for them at the door to the balcony. He looks natural in his dress uniform. One hand on the door handle and the other tucked behind his back. Phil just has to nod at him, and Wilbur opens the double doors. Light from the two suns pours through the doorway, the white marble of the archway nearly glowing. The temperate air of Trappist blows inside the room. Trappist. And in the double doorway, Phil and Wilbur stand on either side of Tommy, ready to walk him out. On the massive balcony before them stands about 24 uniformed crewmen in a straight line, each one at resting attention. A double sunset bathes them in golden light as they stand on the balcony, one of the great government buildings of... Is it Trappist? I'm assuming, because you haven't said I said it wrong yet. The capital city sprawling out several stories below. Trappist capital is a mix of urban contemporary buildings and regular... Trappist. Thank you. I was thinking like a trapeze. Trappists. capital is a mix of urban contemporary buildings and wide swaths of red and orange flora. Below them is a massive communal hub. Where families and friends alike are already out and about celebrating a local holiday. Oh my gosh, holiday. Up here, the noise is more muted, but Tommy can still make out the sound of children's laughter. Phil and Wilbur step forward, and Tommy with them, where Technoblade waits, donning a uniform of his own and a crimson cap trailing behind him. He is decorated in medals and gems, hair tied back in a braided bun, a circlet, yes, around his forehead. Every other induction ceremony Tommy has seen or heard about is nothing like this. They're all stiff and poised with hundreds attending. There are long, droning speeches, polite applause, and too many people to be familiar. But walking towards the captain, Tommy doesn't feel like he's in some kind of ceremony, shaking the hand of someone ranking leagues above him. He just feels like Tommy walking to Technoblade. Tommy stops just feet away from him, careful to keep his chin up, his eyes forward. Attention! Phil's voice is rough and commanding. I did not read that as rough and commanding. Okay. Howdy's it? Hammy. Attention! No, I can't do it. I can't. Ow! What the heck? I just stepped on something. Ah! What is that? I found it. Oh. There's a rock. I blame my dog. I blame Charlie. And Tommy, in sync with 20 or so other crewmen, snaps to attention, standing up straighter and whipping his fingers to the crest of his brow. Parade rest! His arm comes down into... I'm sensing more marching stuff, RV. His arm comes down in two rigid movements, tucked with the other behind his back, and his feet stand shoulder-width apart. Techno doesn't flinch through this entire process, his eyes distant, but trained carefully on Tommy. He lets a beat of silence fall around the group, the only sound being the citizens on the ground. My college band parade rest, lol. I love that. That's so cool that you can apply that sort of thing to your writing. Technoblade begins his speech. Tommy, in the time since I picked you up out of that rubble, you've stabbed me through the hand, stolen several of Nikki's belongings, put garbage in Wilbur's cot, and called Jack a bitch exactly 57 times. You've snuck your way into our ventilation system and made yourself a nuisance to every member of our crew. Tommy tries not to break, nerves bundling in his gut. Where is this leading? You've also sparred with me in the pit every day since your recovery, and you haven't won a single time. Now that's just rubbing it in. But every single time I knocked you to the ground, something funny happened. Techno continues. No matter how beaten you were, no matter how afraid you looked, you got up every single time. When crew members doubted you, you raged against them. No matter what happened, you stuck to your guns. That is why we want you here. Your typography? No, that was what I did in college. Your cartography skills have little to do with it. You have the makings of greatness in you, and all of us, unanimously, have agreed that we want to foster this. A lump forms in Tommy's throat, and he resists the urge to move his vision towards Jack. Unanimously agreed? The makings of greatness? He can't believe his ears. You've got the makings of greatness in you. Bro, let's make a treasure planet AU. That would go so hard. The makings of greatness? He can't believe his ears. You're nothing, Tommy. Nobody wants you around except me. You should be grateful. The memory of months of verbal abuse echoes in the back of his mind, and for the first time, Tommy sees it for what it always was. A lie. Here he is needed. But most importantly, he's wanted. Oh my gosh, my heart. My crew swears loyalty to no government or intergalactic allegiance, regardless of what the paperwork says. We swear loyalty to each other and to those that need our help. If you take these vows, you agree to stand by us through success and sinking ship. Tommy Innit, do you swear your work and life to the Syndicate for your 2-year allotment, following us through the stars and seas? Tommy's voice is a bit crackly from misuse as he says, I swear. Do you swear to defend the security of both ship and crewmate? I swear. Do you swear to oppose the tyranny of governments that oppress and control its people? I swear. Do you swear to operate in your role of navigations officer to the best of your ability, leading us not astray and according to the Syndicate's principles? I swear. Finally, do you swear to uphold justice and resist tyranny from within the crew should our moral path go astray? The final oath. The one that makes the Syndicate truly unique. An oath of loyalty with a condition. From what Tommy has learned, it is the ultimate act of trust between Technoblade and his crew. A command to shoot him in the back if ever his intentions turn foul. I swear, Tommy says emphatically. He can't imagine a world where he would fight Technoblade, but he understands the importance of not blindly following him. Technoblade smiles at him, and the sun shines brighter. He turns to Phil, who hands him a velvet box with a glittering piece of metal laid on top. Then stand attention, Officer Innit. You are a member of the Syndicate. Tommy snaps back at attention, and Technoblade reaches down and attaches a pin to the lapel of Tommy's uniform. As he leans in, Technoblade speaks so quietly that only Tommy can hear. You did good, kid. I'm proud. Tommy has to bite the inside of his cheek to keep from smiling, fireworks erupting in his chest as he nearly bursts with pride. The pin is perfect. His uniform fits perfect. Technoblade then steps aside and Phil comes over, a tassel in hand. Tommy remains at attention, only feeling a bit sore by now, as Phil attaches the golden tassel to his hold on. I gotta scroll up. Epaulet. Yep. Oh my gosh. Attaches the golden tassel to his epaulet with a smile. Told you it was easy, he says with a grin, walking away. Hold on. Walking away, Tommy resists the urge to roll his eyes. Next is Wilbur, who, despite his professional demeanor, looks like he's trying to contain his excitement as he clips on the second one, whispering, "Welcome aboard, Gremlin." Then comes Nikki, who... That was my Tommy voice. Wilbur, welcome aboard, Gremlin. Then comes Nikki, who doesn't say anything at all as she fastens on her tassel, but smiles so fondly at Tommy that he flushes a bit, unused to all the attention. Finally, the bald bitch boy himself stalks over, and Tommy tenses, suddenly wondering if Technoblade had lied when he said the decision had been unanimous. Jack fixes the last tassel to Tommy's epaulet and leans in close. "We've got your back now," he says. "Don't blow it." It isn't the kind words given to Tommy by Wilbur and Technoblade, but the significance isn't lost to Tommy. It's an olive branch of sorts. He accepts. Jack returns to the line, and Techno stands at Tommy's side, facing them all. "Salute Navigatations? No, navigations. I'm so off my game. Salute Navigations Officer Tommy Innit." His voice resounds across the balcony as the entire syndicate snaps to salute, saluting him, welcoming him. At ease. Tommy's arms fall to his sides, and his face breaks out into a grin as his crewmates, his friends, burst into applause and cheers, rushing up to him enthusiastically. Tommy is patted on the back, his hair ruffled, his uniform adjusted, by Phil, of course, and through all the joy and chaos, Technoblade stands to the side, looking quite pleased. After saying thank you for maybe the 16th time, Tommy fights his way through the chattering crowd and makes his way to Technoblade. His captain gives him a nod, overlooking the edge of the balcony and out at the festival. Tommy takes his place at Techno's side. Technoblade is the first to speak. I hope you're ready for your first official mission. It's a big one. Tommy nods slowly. I'll give it everything I've got. You're critical to this, you know. Without you, we would still be combing planets for Rambo. Now we know where he is. We just have to get him out. The night he spilled everything to Technoblade in the mess hall plays back in the back of his mind. He could only get out bits of information at a time before panicking, but Techno sat with him through the whole thing. We will, Tommy says, an oath of his own. He won't let anyone suffer at the hands of Dream the way he did, even if it means signing himself up for a war. I like that optimism, Technoblade muses, because I'm convinced I'll be so caught up in wiping the concrete with Dream's blood, I'll just totally forget Rambo altogether. Tommy barks out a laugh at that, both humored and vengefully delighted at the mental image. Technoblade vowed to protect him, and Tommy believes it. He could get used to believing. Before he can mentally talk himself out of it, Tommy lunges over and wraps his arms around Technoblade, trying to fit all his thanks, his loyalty, his love into one squeeze. Techno squawks in protest, and though he hears a smattering of giggles from his crewmates, he couldn't care less. Eventually, Technoblade relaxes and awkwardly pats Tommy's back with a chuckle. Yeah, he says. I know, kid. I hear you. If you saw any inconsistencies, no, you didn't. Oh. I'm so emo. Help. Okay, gamers. Who's alive? Who made it? Who survived? Are you still living? Are you still alive after this? I'm not. I'm mentally help. You got out your shit. You made this just now? I thought you were hiding this from me. What? Oh my gosh, you're a mad lad. This is beautiful. I love it. If I had a nickel for every piece of sketched out art of Technoblade carrying Tommy, I'd have 2 nickels. Like sketched out art from my friends and their fics. 2 nickels. First one, Pink Man. This is the second one. I love it. I'm putting this on my wall. But oh my gosh, that was a great fic. I love it. I like it a lot. Now we listen to Mario music to cope with the pain. Man, RB Space Fic hit different, don't it, chat? Oh my god! Literally the coolest. Girl, thank you so much for this. Give me so much. Like, yay! I'm so glad. Oh my gosh, brothers. Literally, they are so brothers. Oh, I forgot how much I missed that fic, bro. The whole thing. He's like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. Help me. And he's like, let me. And then, did you know about like? How did you know that he knew? Like, I didn't. Just pure trust. That's brothership right there. My heart is getting whiplash, but yes. Literally my heart right now. Ugh. Dead. I love them. I love them too. That was so good. But chat. Gosh, maybe I'll read a bad night apart. Don't give me hope. But no promises though. Okay. But that'd be really cool. We haven't saved Rambo yet, so, you know, it's up to you, hun. It's up to you. But let's see. Who's ooh. Trying to look at people to raid tonight. Let's see. I think we might raid Mondays. Wait. Wait, Kiki is live. Hold on. Kiki's new. Kiki just started streaming like last week, I think. And hold on. Yeah, pronouns are she, her. She's currently streaming Minecraft, so that could be fun, chill stuff to go watch or just, you know, fall asleep to, huh? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were only gonna do one reading tonight. Hey, we made it past an hour and 30 minutes. That's a good time. That's a good time. All right, gamers. Chatters, and all alike. We are gonna be raiding the lovely Miss Kiki is online. So here are some raid commands for y'all to paste in, or copy and paste into her chat when we get over there. Raid Christy. Hold on. But, oh, of course, it was so fun being able to read. Also, you don't need to apologize, Kim. How was your I hope your food was good at least. Oh, don't forget to stay to get more berry points whenever you head over there to the raid. This was super fun. Stream on Wednesday. I'm thinking we'll probably be back with a date with death. Cause to like that's like the end of like the whole 7 days until I get his soul. So y'all might want to put the notification button on for all that, you know. Wink wink. We all want to know. Don't call me stinky. You're stinky. You're stinky. How dare you? How dare you? Nah, I'm kidding. You're fun. But yes, that's about it over here. Yeah, stream on Wednesday, and then I'll see you on Friday. I'll set up another time where we can do another anime watching night, because I know we haven't done that in like 2 weeks. But I want to get back and watching season 2 of My Hero, so nah, you're fine. All right, chat. Without further ado, remember, you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are valid, and I love you all very, very, very much, and I'll see you all in the next stream. Mwah! Bye!